In recent years, the conversation surrounding diversity, equity, and inclusion (DEI) policies in the workplace has reached a fever pitch, particularly in the United States. The debate has intensified with the shifting political landscape, especially following the Trump administration's strong criticism of such initiatives. This stance marks a significant departure from decades of affirmative action policies that have aimed to rectify workplace inequalities since the 1960s. As major corporations once championed DEI efforts in the wake of social justice movements, the current political rhetoric has branded these policies as unfair and potentially anti-meritocratic, leading to a re-evaluation of their economic implications. Economists argue that the benefits of diversity extend beyond social equity; they also contribute to economic efficiency and growth. The underlying argument is straightforward. When capable individuals are excluded from the workforce due to discrimination, the economy suffers. By integrating these individuals, particularly women, into the workforce, a substantial increase in GDP can be achieved. This notion is supported by a body of research indicating that men and women are complementary in their contributions to productivity and firm performance. As a result, when women are added to the workforce, the economic impact is greater than if an equal number of men were employed. In a detailed analysis of gender diversity and its economic effects, it has been observed that the elasticity of substitution between male and female labor is notably low. This means that the contributions of women and men are not interchangeable but rather enhance one another. Consequently, as female labor force participation approaches parity with male participation, the potential GDP gains for advanced economies could increase by as much as 25%, and for middle-income countries, they could even double. This phenomenon highlights a critical economic argument. Promoting gender diversity is not merely a matter of fairness but also one of enhancing overall economic performance. Critics of DEI policies often contend that preferential hiring practices for women may lead to an inefficient workforce, arguing instead for a merit-based approach that disregards gender or race. However, this perspective overlooks the substantial body of evidence demonstrating that diverse teams drive better outcomes. Gender differences in risk aversion and competitive behavior, for instance, can lead to improved risk management and innovation within organizations. Thus, the economic rationale for fostering diversity becomes clear. It not only addresses equity but also enhances efficiency. As the political landscape continues to evolve with increasing pushback against DEI policies from certain factions, the discourse surrounding their economic implications remains crucial. The potential for significant economic gains associated with increased gender diversity represents a compelling argument for maintaining and even expanding DEI initiatives. As we look ahead, the challenge will be to navigate the complexities of equity and efficiency in the workforce, ensuring that policies are designed to foster inclusivity while also driving economic growth. The ongoing debate around DEI policies will likely influence corporate strategies and public policy decisions in the coming years. As the data supporting the economic benefits of diversity continues to mount, it will be essential for businesses and policymakers to recognize that promoting inclusivity is not only a moral imperative but also a strategic economic advantage. In a world increasingly focused on sustainable growth and innovation, the integration of diverse perspectives will be fundamental to unlocking the full potential of our workforce. In an era where the traditional roles of journalism are increasingly challenged, recent developments highlight both the triumphs of young talent and the sobering realities of an industry in transition. As high school students in Providence vie for the title of Student of the Week, their remarkable achievements set a high bar for their peers, showcasing the potential of the next generation. Meanwhile, the closure of a long-standing local newspaper has sparked a broader conversation about the future of native journalism and the aesthetic, cultural, and economic implications of such losses. Voting for the Providence Journal's Student of the Week is not just about recognition, it reflects a growing trend of celebrating young achievers who are making impactful contributions to their communities. The students nominated exemplify excellence in academics, athletics, and service, demonstrating that commitment and hard work can lead to significant accomplishments at an early age. As one of the nominees noted, we are not just the leaders of tomorrow, we are the doers of today. This sentiment resonates deeply at a time when the youth are often perceived as disengaged or apathetic. Contrasting this positive narrative, the recent closure of a prominent newspaper has left many questioning the future of local journalism. The demise of this institution marks the end of an era for native reporters who provided a vital link between the community and the news. As reported by ICT News, the loss of such a publication not only diminishes the number of voices in local discourse but also raises concerns about the availability of accurate information in the age of disinformation. The shuttering of the newspaper has been met with widespread dismay, drawing attention to the challenges faced by media organizations in sustaining their operations amidst declining readership and revenue. In a related discussion, columnist Danny Tyree has brought to light another pressing issue: the relevance of the penny in modern America. Tyree argues that the cost of producing a penny now exceeds its face value, prompting a debate about whether it is time to retire the coin altogether. It now costs the U.S. Mint a whopping 3.7 cents to manufacture and distribute each 1-cent piece, he points out, highlighting the absurdity of the situation. While some people cling to the tradition of the penny, Tyree suggests that its discontinuation would not only streamline transactions but also reflect a broader trend of adapting to modern economic realities. As these stories unfold, they serve as reminders of the complex landscape in which we live. Young individuals are stepping up to make a difference, while established institutions face existential challenges. The juxtaposition of promising youth engagement against the backdrop of declining media presence illustrates a critical moment in our cultural narrative. Looking ahead, it remains to be seen how these dynamics will evolve. Will the celebration of young achievers lead to increased civic engagement and innovation? Can local journalism reinvent itself in a media landscape dominated by digital giants? And what will the future hold for currency in an increasingly cashless society? These questions will undoubtedly shape the discourse in the coming years as both individuals and communities navigate the path forward. As America enters a new era of philanthropy, the spotlight turns to its wealthiest individuals who wield significant influence through their charitable giving. The latest report from Forbes reveals that while the fortunes of the nation's largest philanthropists have ballooned, their giving has not kept pace, raising vital questions about the responsibility of wealth in addressing pressing social issues. The wealth of America's top 25 philanthropists has surged to a collective $1.6 trillion, an increase from $1.35 trillion in the previous year. Correspondingly, their lifetime charitable contributions rose by $30 billion, reaching a staggering total of $241 billion. However, this 14% increase in giving lags behind the 18.5% growth in their overall fortunes, signifying a troubling trend. The wealthiest are donating a diminishing percentage of their net worth. Over their lifetimes, these individuals have given away an average of just 15% of their wealth, the lowest proportion since Forbes began tracking such data in 2021. Warren Buffett remains the most notable figure in the landscape of American philanthropy, having donated $62 billion throughout his life, which constitutes 30% of his net worth. His annual contributions, primarily in the form of Berkshire Hathaway stock to various foundations, exemplify a long-standing commitment to philanthropy. Yet, in a surprising shift, Buffett announced that upon his passing he would not be leaving any of his stock to the Gates Foundation, instead designating it for a foundation run by his children, a move that has sparked discussions about future philanthropy in the Buffett legacy. Meanwhile, George Soros stands out for his remarkably high percentage of giving relative to his net worth. He has contributed 76% of his wealth, focusing on democratic initiatives and educational support in regions facing political challenges. Mackenzie Scott, another prominent philanthropist, continues to embody a radical approach to giving by distributing unrestricted funds to a diverse range of organizations, having donated over $19 billion in just 6 years. Her commitment to philanthropy, encapsulated in her mantra to give until the safe is empty, stands in stark contrast to the more guarded approaches of many billionaires. The report also highlights significant disparities among the wealthiest givers. For instance, Jeff Bezos, despite his massive wealth of $251 billion, has only donated 1.6% of it over his lifetime, a figure that draws criticism against the backdrop of his philanthropic peers. This discrepancy raises critical questions about the motivations and societal responsibilities of the ultra-wealthy. The philanthropic landscape is further complicated by the emergence of new players such as Reed Hastings, co-founder of Netflix, who has recently increased his charitable contributions through a donor-advised fund, though the details of his giving remain largely undisclosed. In contrast, established figures like Michael Bloomberg continue to exert influence through significant donations aimed at combating climate change, highlighting the reliance on private funding to fill gaps left by governmental actions. As the debate around wealth distribution and social responsibility heats up, the impact of these philanthropic endeavors and the motivations behind them will be closely scrutinized. The mixed outcomes of various initiatives, particularly in areas like global agriculture and education, suggest that while the financial commitments are substantial, the effectiveness of these philanthropic strategies can vary markedly. In conclusion, as the world watches how these billionaires navigate their roles as philanthropists, the implications of their actions will resonate far beyond their immediate contributions. The ongoing discourse surrounding wealth responsibility and impact will likely shape the future of philanthropy, compelling both individuals and institutions to reassess their strategies in addressing the complex challenges facing society. As we move further into 2025, the question remains: will the richest Americans rise to the occasion? Or will their giving continue to reflect a growing divide between wealth and social responsibility? In a significant advancement for military operations, Leidos, a renowned Fortune 500 company, has been awarded a 7-year contract by the UK Ministry of Defence (MOD) to deliver a state-of-the-art meteorological and oceanographic data service known as Thor. This initiative is set to bolster the MOD's capabilities in providing critical environmental insights essential for military operations, from tactical deployments to strategic planning. The announcement, made on February 3, 2025, highlights the growing importance of accurate weather and ocean data in military contexts. Joe Etheridge, Vice President and Managing Director for National Security and Defense at Leidos UK and Europe, underscored the significance of this project, stating, "Weather is a critical component in military activity, be that delivering effects in challenging conditions at sea, conducting continuous air operations, or safeguarding troops in climatic extremes." She expressed enthusiasm for collaborating with the MOD to enhance the UK's defence intelligence capabilities. The Thor service will replace the current meteorological and oceanographic system, integrating data from established providers such as the Met Office and the UK Hydrographic Office. This transition is poised to improve the collection, processing, and distribution of vital meteosy information, which will be accessible through various channels to a wide range of end users within the military. The MOD Joint Operational Meteorology and Oceanography Center (JOMOC) has acknowledged the timely nature of this project, stating that demand for meteosy support has reached record levels. They noted, "We are entering an unprecedented period of science and technological change in the next 5 to 7 years, which Thor will form a critical part of." This sentiment reflects a broader trend within military organizations to harness advanced technologies and data analytics to gain a decisive edge in operations. As part of the contract, Leidos will apply agile methodologies to modernize the infrastructure, storage, and user access within the MOD's internal service provider community. This approach aims to streamline operations and improve the efficiency of data services, a crucial factor in a rapidly evolving defense landscape. Looking ahead, the implications of the Thor initiative extend beyond mere data collection. The enhanced capabilities are expected to facilitate improved decision-making processes for military personnel, enabling them to understand and adapt to environmental conditions more effectively. By aligning with NATO and other allies, the Thor project also promises to enhance international operational collaboration, further reinforcing the UK's defense posture on the global stage. Leidos. which reported annual revenues of approximately $15.4 billion in 2023, has established a strong foothold in providing innovative digital modernization solutions. The company's extensive experience in geospatial and mission software development positions it well to meet the challenges presented by this contract. As Etheridge concluded, the collaboration with the MOD is not just about delivering a service, it is about creating vital capabilities that will support the UK and its allies in military operations worldwide. With the Thor project set to unfold over the coming years, the integration of advanced meteorological and oceanographic data into military operations is likely to reshape how the UK armed forces approach environmental challenges, paving the way for a more responsive and informed military strategy. As this initiative progresses, it will be intriguing to observe its impact on operational effectiveness and the potential for further innovations in military data services. In a turbulent start to February 2025, financial markets reacted sharply to President Donald Trump's announcement of new tariffs, leading to significant fluctuations in stock futures and the value of the US dollar. This latest development follows a series of controversial moves by the administration that have reignited concerns over trade relations with key partners and the overall health of the U.S. economy. On Monday morning, Dow futures plummeted by more than 650 points, reflecting a 1.22% decline, while S&P 500 and Nasdaq 100 futures also saw significant losses of 1.4% and 1.7% respectively. Investors are grappling with the implications of a 25% tariff on goods from Canada and Mexico and a 10% tariff on imports from China, which are set to take effect imminently. The U.S. conducts approximately $1.6 trillion in trade with these nations, making the potential impact of these tariffs particularly alarming. Market analysts have highlighted the underlying tension these tariffs create, not only for domestic economic growth but also for corporate profitability. Markets may now need to take the rest of Trump's tariff agenda literally rather than just seriously, noted Tobin Marcus, head of U.S. policy and politics at Wolfe Research. This sentiment underscores the growing unease among traders about the administration's unpredictable approach to trade policy. In response to the U.S. tariffs, Canada and Mexico have already indicated plans to retaliate, with Canada announcing its own tariffs and Mexico considering similar measures. The Chinese government has taken a more formal approach, stating its intention to file a lawsuit with the World Trade Organization. This escalating trade conflict has the potential to ripple through global markets, exacerbating the decline of European auto stocks and contributing to an overall downturn in the Stoxx 600 index. While the stock market grappled with these developments, the US dollar gained strength, buoyed by the increase in oil and gasoline futures amidst the tariff announcements. This dynamic reflects a complex interplay where commodity markets react to geopolitical events, often leading to unexpected shifts in investor sentiment. As the trading week progresses, investors are not only focused on the immediate impacts of tariffs but are also bracing for a wave of corporate earnings reports. More than 120 companies in the S&P 500 are set to disclose their fourth quarter results, including tech giants like Alphabet, Amazon, and Palantir, alongside consumer staples such as Walt Disney and Mondelez. These reports will be critical in assessing the broader economic landscape, particularly as economists predict modest job growth in the January non-farm payrolls report. In a related international development, Trump has also threatened to cut future funding to South Africa in light of its new land expropriation law. This law allows the government to seize private land for public use, sparking controversy and fears of economic repercussions. South African President Cyril Ramaphosa has defended the legislation, likening it to eminent domain practices in the US and the UK, while emphasizing the need for a nuanced understanding of the country's policies. As the situation unfolds, it is clear that Trump's latest decisions, both in trade and foreign policy, are shaping a volatile economic environment. With markets reflecting apprehension over these developments, the coming weeks are likely to test the resilience of both the U.S. economy and its diplomatic relationships. Investors, policymakers, and global markets will be watching closely as the repercussions of these actions continue to unfold. potentially ushering in a new era of economic uncertainty. In a week marked by significant developments in public health and federal science, the intertwining challenges of disease outbreaks and governmental shifts are now at the forefront of national discourse. The emergence of a highly pathogenic strain of bird flu in the U.S. poultry industry alongside a serious tuberculosis outbreak in Kansas signals a critical juncture for health officials grappling with both immediate and systemic health threats. As these issues unfold, they reveal deeper implications for public health policy and scientific integrity amid ongoing political changes. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention (CDC) recently reported the first occurrence of the H5N9 bird flu strain in U.S. poultry, a significant development that has raised alarms among agricultural and public health officials. This strain, known for its potential to cause severe illness in birds, was detected on a California duck farm already coping with infections of the H5N1 strain. In response, nearly 119,000 ducks have been culled to mitigate the virus's spread. The situation is compounded by avian flu-related fatalities reported by Rose Acre Farms, one of the country's largest egg producers, leading to dire projections of a 20% increase in egg prices for 2025, according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture. In the realm of human health, Kansas is currently facing what has been described as the largest tuberculosis outbreak in the nation since the CDC began tracking cases. Recent clarifications from state health officials indicate that while the outbreak has not surpassed historical records, it has resulted in more than 60 confirmed cases across Wyandotte and Johnson counties, with 2 fatalities. This resurgence highlights the ongoing challenges of managing infectious diseases that require prolonged close contact for transmission. Beck Shackelford Nwanganga, a health equity reporter, emphasized the importance of contact tracing and public compliance with health directives to control the outbreak, which has been ongoing since January 2024. Amid these public health crises, the political landscape has also shifted dramatically. The confirmation hearings for Robert F. Kennedy Jr. as the next Secretary of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services have sparked bipartisan concern. During these hearings, questions around Kennedy's past promotion of vaccine misinformation have highlighted the tension between political rhetoric and public health imperatives. Senator Bill Cassidy pressed Kennedy to commit to maintaining rigorous vaccine review standards, a critical point given the current climate of vaccine hesitancy fueled by misinformation. The implications of these developments extend beyond immediate health concerns. Reports have emerged of data disappearing from government health agency websites, including critical surveys on youth behavior and social vulnerability indices. These changes have raised significant concerns among researchers about access to vital public health information, potentially hindering efforts to address ongoing health disparities. Interestingly, while public health officials grapple with the ramifications of these outbreaks and political challenges, researchers continue to make strides in understanding the complexities of disease dynamics. For instance, a recent study on mosquito adaptation to climate change reveals that some species like Aedes cyarensis may evolve to thrive in increasingly warmer conditions. This underscores the unpredictable nature of disease vectors and the urgent need for proactive measures in disease prevention. As we look forward, the intersection of public health, scientific integrity, and political accountability will be paramount. With the ongoing threats posed by infectious diseases and the evolving landscape of health policy, the coming months will be critical in determining how effectively authorities can respond to these challenges. The resilience of both the scientific community and public health infrastructure will be tested as they navigate these tumultuous times. As we continue to monitor the situation, the need for informed public discourse and robust health policies remains more crucial than ever. In a significant scientific breakthrough, researchers have identified a novel missense pathogenic variant of the TMEM53 gene linked to craniotubular dysplasia Ikegawa type CTDI in an Iranian family. This rare autosomal recessive skeletal disorder is characterized by abnormal bone growth and has been minimally documented, with only 6 families previously reported in the literature. The findings, published in the Journal of Human Genetics, shed light on the clinical manifestations of the disorder and emphasized the importance of early diagnosis and intervention. The two affected siblings were referred to medical specialists due to progressive visual loss of unknown origin. Clinical examinations revealed severe optic atrophy and narrowing of the optic canal, prompting further investigation. Radiographic evaluations were consistent with a diagnosis of CTDI, which was ultimately confirmed through genetic testing that identified a homozygous missense variant in TMEM53C.704G greater than TP. or 235L. This genetic confirmation is crucial as it not only helps in understanding the etiology of the disorder but also underscores the role of consanguinity in the transmission of genetic conditions. The proband underwent a transnasal endoscopic optic canal decompression, resulting in a remarkable improvement in visual acuity and daily functioning. This case highlights the potential benefits of timely surgical intervention in managing complications associated with CTDI. The researchers recommend comprehensive clinical evaluations and genetic assessments for similar cases to facilitate early diagnosis and improve prognosis. Dr. Longbo, one of the lead authors of the study, emphasized the importance of their findings, stating identifying genetic variants associated with conditions like CTDI can greatly enhance our understanding of the disorder and guide treatment options. The implications of this research extend beyond individual cases as it contributes to a growing body of knowledge regarding genetic skeletal disorders and their management. In a broader context, the study emphasizes the need for ongoing research into rare genetic disorders, particularly those with limited clinical documentation. As genetic testing becomes increasingly accessible, it is vital for medical professionals to utilize these tools to enhance diagnosis and treatment strategies, ultimately improving patient outcomes. As advancements in genetic research continue to unfold, further investigations into TMEM53 and its role in craniotubular dysplasia may yield additional insights. This may pave the way for targeted therapies and improved management protocols for affected individuals and families, marking a hopeful horizon for those impacted by this rare condition. In a politically charged atmosphere, the New Century Club is set to launch its 2025 Great Decisions discussion series, a significant initiative aimed at fostering informed dialogue on contemporary foreign policy issues. Kicking off on February 3, 2025 in Indiana, this series is the largest nonpartisan study and discussion program in the United States, engaging citizens in critical discussions about the nation's role in global affairs. The New Century Club, collaborating with faculty from Indiana University of Pennsylvania, will host the discussions over 8 Tuesdays from 10 to 11 a.m. at the First Unitarian Universalist Church in Indiana. Each session will delve into pressing topics, providing a platform for experts to share their insights and stimulate public discourse. The series promises to be not only educational but also a chance for community engagement, with coffee, tea, and breakfast snacks offered to attendees for a nominal donation that will benefit the Indiana Free Library. The first session, titled After Gaza, American Policy in the Middle East, will feature Dr. Rachel Sternfeld from the IUP Political Science Department. The ongoing conflict in Gaza has raised essential questions regarding U.S. influence and interests in the region. Dr. Sternfeld will explore potential outcomes of the war and how the United States might facilitate a long-term resolution that addresses the needs of both Israel and the Palestinians. Following this, Dr. Howard Hastings will lead a discussion on February 11 regarding the crossroads faced by American foreign policy amid escalating global crises and increasing domestic polarization. As the complexities of international relations evolve, understanding the contours of these debates becomes crucial for citizens and policymakers alike. On February 18, Dr. Will Rattle will present on the changing dynamics of U.S. leadership in the global economy, particularly under President Joe Biden's administration. This session will examine new trade ideas, technology policies, and how America's competition with China is reshaping its economic strategies and global standing. Subsequent sessions will cover a range of vital issues, including U.S.-China relations, international climate change cooperation, NATO's future, artificial intelligence's implications for national security. and India's strategic positioning between major powers. Each topic reflects the interconnectedness of today's geopolitical landscape and the critical need for informed citizen participation in discussions that shape policy. The initiative underscores the importance of nonpartisan platforms for civic engagement in an era where misinformation and polarized narratives often dominate public discourse. By facilitating discussions led by academic experts, the New Century Club aims to cultivate a well-informed citizenry capable of making sense of complex global issues and holding leaders accountable. As the Great Decisions series unfolds, its impact will likely resonate beyond Indiana, setting a precedent for similar initiatives across the country. With growing challenges facing the U.S. and the world, such community-driven discussions are essential for fostering a culture of inquiry and understanding in the realm of foreign policy. The series not only aims to educate but also empowers citizens to engage thoughtfully with the pressing issues of our time, paving the way for more informed decision-making in the future. Recent research has revealed that mosquitoes, long perceived as vulnerable to climate change due to their cold-blooded nature, possess an unexpected adaptability that could significantly alter the landscape of mosquito-borne diseases in a warming world. A study led by Lisa Coor, a disease ecologist at the University of California, Berkeley, has demonstrated that these insects can evolve and adjust to higher temperatures, raising critical questions about their future distribution and the implications for public health. Traditionally, scientists have predicted that rising global temperatures would drive mosquitoes toward cooler regions, particularly away from the tropics. However, Coor's findings, published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, suggest that this assumption may need to be revised. But whenever we share this, the first question is always, well, what if mosquitoes adapt? Coor noted, emphasizing the necessity of considering mosquito adaptability in ecological models. The research focused on Aedes cyarensis, a common mosquito species in western North America. The team collected larvae from tree holes in Solano County, California, and allowed them to reproduce in controlled laboratory conditions. The experimental design involved exposing some larvae to 30 degrees Celsius, the upper limit of their survival, while others were maintained at a cooler 22 degrees Celsius. The results were striking. Larvae subjected to prolonged heat exhibited notably lower survival rates and diminished heat tolerance as adults. Interestingly, Coor and her colleagues observed that mosquitoes raised in warmer conditions were smaller, a factor contributing to their reduced heat tolerance. Smaller body sizes are often found to have lower short-term heat tolerance just because there's kind of a lower resource level to start with, Coor explained. This relationship between size and survival under thermal stress highlights how environmental factors can shape not just individual organisms but entire populations. Genetic analysis further revealed a wealth of single nucleotide mutations and chromosomal inversions in the mosquitoes that survived the heat treatment. The study identified over 500,000 mutations clustered in regions of the genome associated with thermal tolerance. This genetic adaptability suggests that mosquitoes may not only survive but thrive in increasingly warm environments, potentially leading to a resurgence of diseases like dengue, malaria, and Zika fever in regions previously thought to be at risk of decline. Deepa Agashe, an evolutionary biologist who reviewed the study, remarked, "This is a good piece of work. They show quite nicely and convincingly that if you're starting off with a diverse mosquito population, they should be able to adapt pretty fast to the changing climate." The implications of these findings are profound, indicating that warmer regions may not see a decline in mosquito populations as expected. This research underscores the urgency for enhanced public health strategies. We need to keep the foot on the gas in terms of mosquito-borne disease prevention, Coor stressed, highlighting the potential for increasing transmission rates of these diseases as mosquitoes adapt. While this study offers critical insights, Agashe cautioned that further research is needed to understand the long-term impacts of climate change on mosquito populations and their interactions with other species. As scientists continue to unravel the complexities of climate change and its effects on biodiversity, this study serves as a reminder of the resilience of nature. The adaptability of mosquitoes may not only reshape their ecological dynamics but could also necessitate a re-evaluation of strategies aimed at controlling mosquito-borne diseases. The continuing evolution of these insects in response to a warming planet raises important questions about the future of public health initiatives and the ongoing battle against infectious diseases.